This is Identity at the Center. If it has anything to do with IAM, this is the go-to podcast. Now your hosts, Jim McDonald and Jeff Stedman.
Welcome to the Identity at the Center podcast. I'm Jeff, and that's Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jeff. How are you?
I'm pretty darn good. How are you?
Fantastic, man. We're sitting here doing a live studio audience recording at Identiverse 2023.
A wandering studio audience with people kind of coming through the hallway here.
Hey, that's kind of what we hoped for, right?
Right.
Was that we'd have people kind of like poke their head in.
Yeah. There are literally 4 or 5 people watching, sort of, and having conversations around us, but we'll have people dropping in as we're kind of going through here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I don't know if you noticed this, but on my badge, it says press/analyst. So what does yours say?
Mine too.
Yeah, so...
You know, another thing was when they checked in, they had various, what do you call it that you put on the bottom of your badge? They're like little flags that hang off the bottom.
Yeah, it's like a little flyer. I've seen something like first-timers, speakers, and stuff like that.
It looked like you just take the ones you wanted.
Oh, really?
It looked like it.
And you collect them like Pokemon?
I didn't take one.
First-time speaker, something like that?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, I definitely want to give a shout out to the CRA because they have definitely hooked us up here. I'm sitting here. We've got like this little table and chairs set up in the hallway just outside the expo in between the keynote. Great location. Ian is waiting in the wings. Have a seat, Ian. We're ready to go. We're already recording. We're doing it live. There's like I don't know what we call it, like some banner sign, kind of electric behind us that has like our logo on it. We showed up as like media sponsors, which is very cool. So shout out to CRA for hooking us all up. Wendy was amazing, so definitely thank you to Wendy this morning.
Yeah, various friends of the show stopped by, saw that sign out there and said, well, you guys are big time now.
No,
it definitely made us feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know what we are, but it is something. So Ian Glazer has joined us. Welcome, Ian.
Hello, gentlemen. And no, I know that you've been setting the scene for the home listeners. Have we talked about Jim's suit?
No, we have not. Feel free to
get into it.
Can we spend
a little time?
Yes.
All right. It is absolutely lovely.
Thank
it's
you.
An absolutely lovely.
How would you
blue
describe that color? Baby blue? Sky blue?
I think it's more sky, but like, you know, there's people that have like super tasters and super smells, like they can delineate between and there's the same thing with color. I am not one of those people, so like I'm gonna go back to, I don't know, the Crayola 64 box. I'm like, it's blue.
It's just blue.
Like, because I'm a dumb idiot.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, yeah, it's blue. No, it's actually quite lovely.
It is.
I'm jealous.
And the shoes.
Well, I was thinking it was azure.
Azure? No.
Azure.
I don't think it's azure. Or azure, whatever. Because that's like a darker blue, I think.
You said it was sky
And if
blue.
it was Azure, I have to like pay you like every time I see it.
Jim's suit
Like,
brought to you by
it's like 25
Microsoft.
cents. Oh, it's 25 cents. Like,
Yeah, just leave the money there when you leave.
Okay, yeah. I don't know about you, but through the pandemic, when's the last time you handled cash? But that's an entirely different episode.
Cash is over it. Oh, you got a stalker behind you.
You got David Lee
has
right
stepped up.
behind you.
God.
David doesn't know that we're recording.
The identity
No,
Jedi.
he knows. David knows. David knows. So, guys, have you been in? So I walked out of the show floor, and all I keep coming back to is Seinfeld. Who are all these people? There are first off, there's just a lot of attendees. Awesome, great vibe. But the number of companies where I'm looking at going, I got no idea who you are, what you do, and that is awesome.
That's cool, right?
That is super awesome. And same thing as a couple hours ago, Lance Peterman and Espen Bago were doing Intro to Identity, sort of like the perennial ID Pro session that we've done over the years, standing remotely. And I just walked by and like people are out the door.
Yeah, I was one of
And
those.
I was just like, oh my God, like that's the point. Like that's the point of what we've been doing. Like that's just so awesome. So yeah.
It's the biggest Identiverse conference so far. At least that's what Andy said up on the opening keynote, which I believe. And there's got to be, a couple thousand
He's
people here.
British. He's trustworthy because he has an accent.
Well, that's how you know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's cool. I have not yet made it to the expo hall, so I'm looking forward to. This is my favorite part about going to conferences is seeing the stuff that I've never heard of. That's the best part.
I love because what I'd love to hear for folks I've never seen, never met, don't know what they do, is the origin story of like, okay, there had to have been something, you as the founder, you as the CTO or the funder, that happened. You're like, I see this. and I gotta scratch this itch, right? There's got to be a way to do something about this. But I'd love to know some of these origin stories of companies I've never heard of and be like, what was that story? Right? Because some of those origin stories are hilarious and amazing, and you're like, this is how you got into this? The number of people are like, well, I started to do this, and then I just got sucked into identity. It's like, yeah, welcome.
That's how most people got in. That's my theory. Is most people didn't choose identity.
No,
it chose them.
No. Yes,
especially of a certain age. If you're younger, maybe, but as a old hat,
I would love to in my career get to a point where I start talking to people who say, yeah, I picked this. I picked this as the thing I wanted to do.
This was my major in college.
Oh my God, that's
you're crazy,
the
man.
But that's what Lance is trying to do at UNC Charlotte and others of like, that would be my gosh. But just to hear someone say like, you know, I worked at the IT help desk in college, and I was manning the password resets. But like I learned about that, and then I'm like, I want to get into this thing. So I don't know. It would be an awesome time to start speaking to those people, and I bet you they walk among us
silently, unbeknownst to us in various disguise. I've been coming to Identiverse for a while. I think you have too. How many Identiverse? And what's the plural for Identiverses? Is it Identiverse?
Well, so I think every 10 Identiverse is measured as a CIS. It's just like a weird throwback measurement. Okay. I am pretty sure I've been to 8 or 9 of them.
Something like that.
So wait, this is the 9th, right?
I think so.
This is the 9th.
Yeah. I think I've been to 7 because I missed the last year.
Well, this is the 9th for Andy. So I get a little confused here. I have been to almost all Identiverses and many of the Cloud Identity Summits, but not all. I missed like 1 or 2. So I've been to a couple. It's safe to say. Sorry, that was a really long answer. You better edit that down.
So the answer is 9. If you're starting at home.
So it's probably 5. No, I don't know.
So I'm looking around, and we've got some people who are kind of watching us. I don't see any first-time badges. So you guys have been to Identiverse before? First-timer? They didn't give you a little sticker?
All right.
Or you just chose not to? Okay.
No, they were self-service.
Okay.
That's what I was telling you.
Yeah, okay. So who's been to Identiverse before?
No one?
All fresh meat for Identity?
Oh, my goodness.
And what do you guys think so far? I love it. They love it. It's great. Better than Gartner. Okay, well, I have friends at Gartner, so we'll try not to.
Can we edit that part out?
It is definitely a different audience for sure. Yeah, it's the doers in the identity.
Have there been master classes?
There was some earlier today. Yeah,
that seems to be the theme. Is that like
they were full.
Everything was full.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people walking around who can go as deep as you humanly want to go, and then some, which is, great.
Yeah, they probably do part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Later on, part 2.
Mm-hmm. Attack of the Standards, part 2. They never left.
I like how the agenda goes from like 8 a.m. to 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's like,
Jim, I'm going to observe it's day 1. So when you say I like that, that's true. I'm going to talk to you on Thursday and see how you're like. Do you still like it?
I was being a little facetious. I'm wondering how many people actually make it.
Make it where?
From 8 to 8.
Oh, well, it's Vegas. I mean, time has no construct here. It's you wake up and then you go to sleep. The time is irrelevant. It's just what happened in between.
And there's plenty of oxygen being pumped in.
Right.
So,
do they do that here too?
Oh, everywhere. Yeah. They have to.
Come on, like you guys, the smartest you will ever be is walking into a conference room, because if you sit there for 2-3 hours, carbon dioxide builds up and you're just dumb as a stone by the end. And so the whole model of like sitting in a big room with a bunch of people, like we're going to make a big decision at the end of this thing, like, no, that's a horrible idea. Make it up front and then write the narrative of how you got to it afterwards, and it will sound amazing. But otherwise, no, it's a clown show, like towards the end of it. Same thing here.
Well, one of the favorite things that I've so far noticed is some of the conference rooms, at least upstairs, have socially distant seating. And I'm not sure who came up with the official measurement to say that this chair is socially distant from another chair, and it's maybe 3 feet apart. So does that mean you're safer if you're not sitting?
That's emotionally distant.
Yeah.
And then socially distant is actually a different measurement.
We're only here to solve identity problems.
Yeah, exactly. We're not
Emotional
that
issues.
smart.
We're not going to even try to get into that one.
So, Ian, tell us about your sessions this week. You've got
Cool.
one called
I have
Ceremonies.
ceremonies tomorrow at 11:40 in Jupiter something 2. Let's go with 2. Sounds like a good number.
Isn't that Lost in Space?
Oh, interesting poll. You're on the internet. You tell us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about, actually, had I known, I may have modified my presentation before seeing Andre's keynote. I'm going to talk a little bit about recognition, which is a topic that came up time and time again, but at a Cloud Identity Summit, which was the precursor, for those of you who haven't been to our Identiverse that often, Cloud Identity Summit was sort of the precursor to this. And in Keystone, Colorado, my good friend and mentor and somewhat boss, Bob Blakely, gave a talk about recognition, how one recognizes someone else. And it was super impactful for me. And I've been thinking about this and combined with the notion of a ceremony. This is something that Kim Cameron sort of brought to the conversation. And I was like, this seems like this could be fun. And then I had to write it, and it was differently fun. No, so it's a lot of it is talking about how we do things in the analog world, how we do things in the digital world, and the difference between the two and why that matters, and how we shore up that distance. And then on Thursday, I have the keynote panel, and I have the distinct honor of being on stage with some amazing people, and including someone who doesn't get a lot of airtime in my own backstory, but Dr. Heather Hinton, who is the CISO at PagerDuty. Heather was at IBM, and we got acquired. The company I was at got acquired into IBM, and she and others pulled me into working on a patent for federated provisioning. And it was meant to become WS provisioning. There was going to be a WS star for old school. This is basically angle bracket standards for provisioning. And I knew nothing about the patent process. I mean, I was a kid. Like, I knew nothing about patent. I knew none of these things.
Yeah, but how cool is that to be involved with that at such an early stage?
I thought it was a lot of paperwork and a pain in the ass back then because I was a dumb kid.
It probably still is.
But yeah. But like the fact that I get to be on stage with her now and just like thank her for that. But we're going to talk about the concept of should there be a chief digital identity officer? And so I suggested this topic to Andy and to the conference folks. Like, great idea. And I'm like, I probably should have an opinion about this. And the problem is I keep vacillating about where I fall on it, whether it's a good idea or it's not, what should be in scope, what should be out of scope. We only have a half an hour. We're only going to scratch the surface. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's an amazing panel. And that's it. So just 2. That's all people need to hear from me.
I called that one out. We recorded a show Friday that went live yesterday in the real world. And that was one of the sessions I called out because I think anything that gets identity up the food chain within an organization is great. Because a lot of times we're buried beneath a CISO or IT or maybe audit or risk or something like that. And anything that moves us up gives us more power to be able to do the things that we know we should be doing. And hopefully that gets more recognition.
I think the undiscovered sort of country for us as an industry is our relationship with the chief digital officer and chief marketing officer. And if we're part of the CISO's organization, let's say, or even the COO's organization, we're not going to build the same peer relationship with them. And so this is the part where I'm like, I think we really should have a peer relationship because of all the touch points in a digital engagement journey that you would want an identity practitioner riding just alongside your digital person. But I don't know. So
how would you so somebody said, all right, Ian, you're our first chief identity officer. What do you do? Like, how do you describe that to somebody?
I think the way I would talk about it is, for what do I have custodial responsibility? I am responsible for information about our employees and our contractors and what they can do. I am responsible for our customer information and how we manage our customers and their engagement. Now, that's where things get dicey, because does that mean, do you own CRM? That's our customer data. you own Workday? Maybe that's where our HR did. Like, that boundary, like, that's the part where I'm getting tripped up. But I would talk about, like, I have a responsibility to these constituents, and it's our workforce, it's our contractors, it's our customers. I think that's how I would talk about it. No one's hired me for the job yet, so I don't know. But, like, if, anyone's got ideas, I'm all ears.
Create the position that you want. Is the way it manifested, right? Is that manifest destiny? Is that what we're talking about here? We want to have, a chief identity officer. Oh, Vittorio showed up in the crowd. He's taking pictures of us.
Of course he's taking pictures because he thinks we're an appetizer. Like, he puts
I got
all
the
of his
thumbs
food
up.
online.
Yep.
Well, Jeff, you know what I think is really cool is that we were able to have Ian here on our kickoff show.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have him on his own show. We're going to record that on Thursday. And we didn't touch on any of the topics that we're going to talk about.
No, and that's going to be awesome because thank you for the prompt, Jim, because now I have to go and prep my answers for what the heck I'm going to say on Thursday. But, guys, have a great show. You're going to talk to like 1 billion people. And I will see you guys Thursday. And
sooner
Who's
in the
in the-
hallways.
Andrew should come in the seat next.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
I think
Andrew, you wanna come on?
You should come sit here next.
It's an open mic night
'cause-
on the
'cause
Identity of the Center
this
podcast.
gentleman, Andrew Cameron, has far more to say about everything than I do. And everyone should go see his talk
Andrew
on what
Cameron
day?
from GM.
That's him.
I don't
What day are
think
you
we've
talking?
met in person yet, but
What time?
very prolific.
Excellent. 10:30.
on-
Andrew Cameron. What room?
Covering
No, what room are you in?
what room? I don't know.
In a room.
In a room, somewhere.
In a room.
In the
a
area.
place. In the area.
Yeah.
The J.
Jupiter.
See, now he's got a tag on his badge.
Juniper.
You've got alumni on yours, and you've got speakers.
We
See?
discussed this.
Now, Andrew's doing it right. You're supposed to be collecting these badges like Pokemon and just stick them all over, right?
Yeah, but you can't
okay.
do alumni and first timer because then they cancel each other out.
See,
All right.
that's the conversation starter.
With that,
Yeah.
We
guys,
appreciate
okay.
you.
great shows.
Thanks, Ian. We'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
later. So that was kind of cool. Thanks, Ian, for joining us as he sachets away to his next engagement. I wanted to talk about something that happened to me Monday night when I landed, and I met my brother. He picked me up from the airport, and we went to dinner someplace.
Was it good?
It was amazing. And I don't know if enough people know this. So I've been coming to Vegas for 15, 16 years, something like that, long time. But I've never been further north than the Wynn Casino or whatever it may be. And he took me to a place called Ahern. It's a hotel like next to the Strat. I don't know if anybody knows it because it doesn't have a casino, so it's not popular, but it's just a hotel. And inside there's a restaurant, and it's called Ottimo Gourmet Kitchen and Pizzeria. And I gotta tell you, the best chicken I've ever had in my entire life. Fantastic. And it's just a little restaurant. It's inside this hotel, Simon Casino, on the Strip. So that's my
The
story.
best chicken you've ever
And
had
you
in your
know
life?
me and my chicken.
On the Strip, on the Vegas Strip?
On the Vegas Strip. It was at the Ahern Hotel. Have you ever heard of the Ahern?
No.
We have a mystery guest who's joined us on the mic. And scoot up just a little bit closer, or if we can
This is
try to
like-
figure it out. Yeah, we'll do that. We're
Better?
doing it live, just like that.
Good?
Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, so have you ever heard of the Ahern Hotel?
Never.
Yeah, okay, nobody has. And you could tell because there's nobody in it. And there's no casino, but it has this amazing restaurant. So I'm encouraging people, get out, try Ottimo. They're not sponsoring Identity Center podcast. They
Yeah.
just had really good chicken. And you know when I say I have good chicken,
Wow.
what
Yeah,
I mean by
that's
that.
your favorite food.
Chicken and waffles is like my thing. So whenever we travel, I try to find the best chicken and waffles. So far, the reigning champion is actually at the Venetian. So Thursday night, I'm going to be over at the Yardbird before we do karaoke, getting chicken and waffles because that's my jam. But this was world class for sure.
And
So-
speaking of our drop-in guests,
Yes,
we
I
have
don't know if we
Becky.
can use names, protect the guilty and or innocent. Can we just call you mystery guests? So we
No, listen, I just happened to be walking by.
Yeah.
You guys pulled me over.
Yes.
So, how's it going?
How's it going? Is this your first
This
Identiverse?
is my very first Identiverse.
And what do you think?
I've been wanting to come here for many, many years in former lives. I never got here. It's early for me, I think. You know?
Well, it's day one.
It's day one, yeah. And I only really went to 2 sessions, and one of which was like super full, so I couldn't even really get to that one. But it's great. You know what I love? It's lots of people I know already, and at other conferences, I don't get a chance to talk to them.
Yeah, because you're busy running back and
Because
forth
I'm
between
running,
one room
yes.
to another room.
So
yes.
I don't get a chance, but it's great.
That's good. So did you get a first-timer sticker for your badge?
I did not.
Okay,
I
see,
did
our
not.
first-timers
It's
are failing
self-service.
left and right around here.
Well, if it's your first time, how would you know that you have to put the sticker
should
on
be-
yourself? That's why I see so few of
Put
them.
it in the feedback. Just
Yeah.
Yeah,
should have it on there.
yeah.
There was a first-timer session earlier today. So
yes,
for
and
people who...
to be honest, I wanted to check that out.
Yeah.
But I didn't get here in time.
Yeah, okay. It's cool. It's a good show. It's definitely more for practitioners we've been kind of talking about here. It's a different audience for sure compared to other conferences that might be part of the
More
same
technical?
area. More technical, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's fun, and it's like you said. It's almost like a high school reunion to some degree
Yeah,
with the
it's
people
great.
that you meet, and these are people that you only see maybe once a year, right, at a conference. Maybe they're part of a Slack channel for ID Pro, or they're doing something else, and it's like, oh yeah, you start to get to know each other, and
Yep.
next thing you know, it's like, hey, there's David, my new friend. Met him for the first time, and hopefully I'll see him at the next Identiverse or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, but
And that's how it
probably-
works in the conference business, because it's such, especially the identity conference side of things, because we're not talking like millions of people, right? We're talking,
Right.
for the most part, thousands that are
Right.
congregating around here.
Yeah. Like 2,000, would you say? Is that how
Yeah, I would
many's
say about
here?
2,000. It's one of my favorite things to do is for the keynote is to try to figure out, okay, how many people are at a table? How many tables? How big is this room? And I'm guessing around 2,000, roughly. It's the biggest Identiverse I've been to, for sure. I think this is the biggest one so far.
What did you think of the keynote?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, Andre was awesome.
Oh yeah, he's a great speaker.
Yeah.
Always delivers really good insight. I'm always like listening, like, you know, are the things that I'm thinking, are they still validated? It sounded like they were, so that made me happy. No, it was great. Love the entertainment at the beginning. I know someone is going to be very jealous that I work with that really wants the music.
The Sinatra
Or
and...
just wants more music and more fun and frolic.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool intro.
Fireworks.
Yeah, well, I don't know about fireworks. We don't want to blow anything up.
Yeah.
Do we? I don't know. Maybe to close things down, set things on fire.
Yeah.
Like when we were at Octagym, we did the Octane conference last year, and they were nice enough to give us like a room to record in, and we were sitting there recording, and they're literally tearing the thing down around us as we were recording, and it was an epic experience. But that's really kind of like leaving it out on a high note. So yeah, that's the mic drop, kick the mic stand, smash the guitar. There's nothing
Fun.
left. Yeah, it was good times.
Fun.
So you like the keynote. What about other sessions that you're looking forward to?
So for me, it's a chance to go to hear other people that I know and hear them speak, right? And get more down in the detail, right? Because I never really get a chance to do that. So I also want to make sure that the things that I'm thinking about and writing about are valid in the real world, or is there something I'm missing, or so hopefully I'm going to be doing more listening than talking. That'd be a nice change.
Yeah, nice change of pace for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
How much do sessions or I guess experience like this inform you on your day job? You talked about having, sort of influences maybe on some of the work that you do, but are there any examples where it's like, hey, yeah, this is something that I thought was true and
listen,
totally not?
I just went by one of the booths, and someone who I've been having a fair amount of sessions with was producing something, and I said, hey, is this something? Is this ready to go? And they said, well, it's not ready, but they saved me a copy. So I had him autograph it for me.
Autograph it. Nice.
Yeah. But you know what? That makes me feel good, like I'm really helping someone, tangibly help someone deliver something. I mean, that's my job, right?
Yeah.
So you don't always get that feedback. You get a lot of the problems, but you don't always know, did they take your advice or not, right? So we're like the doctor's office. You come when you're sick,
Right, yeah.
and we don't always often see you for those well visits kind of thing.
And sometimes you can't even describe what's wrong. So how are you supposed to how are you supposed to fix
Exactly.
something?
Yeah.
So I've got a question. It's a little bit off the conference subject, but it's Vegas in general. Are you a Vegas person? Do you like it here?
Yeah, we've, my husband and I, when they first started NASCAR races here, like 1990 something or other, we bought tickets. So we've been coming here. We used to come here regularly. Then it was super cheap to come here. And even though I went to the races once or twice, I wasn't a big race person. But I mean, it was fun. But yeah, we come, once a year, maybe for fun, hang out. Not huge gamblers, more people watching stuff, but it's super fun. Yeah, we used to have family out here too, so now we don't anymore, but we still come.
So what tips do you have for people who maybe don't get out to Vegas very often?
Well, my little inside tip is if you're on the Strip and you want to go somewhere to find just some cheap drinks and you're not having to pay $20 a piece.
Get in a cab and go somewhere else.
Well, that's one good advice. But on the Strip, this Casino Royale is on the Strip. Anybody heard of Casino Royale?
I know the movie.
It's on the other side of Harrah's, I think it is. Right? As your other side, like Flamingo and then Harrah's. And it's really the only kind of non-big corporate casino there. And they used to have $2 beers and stuff. Or $1 beers. Now they might be 2 or 3 or something. And I think they took away their tables. So I think they're getting kind of pushed out almost,
Well, yeah,
But
it seems like everything here is owned
that's
by...
fun. It's an off the Strip, but it's on the Strip kind of place.
Has a different vibe to it.
Yes.
It's not corporate.
Yes, exactly right. And there's only a couple casinos left that aren't, right? As far as I know.
Can you still get free drinks if you're gambling?
Yes.
Does that apply to slot machines?
Yes, that's assuming.
Or you just don't get as much service out there?
So what
Yes.
they do is you got to put your order in, and then it's a half hour until your drink comes.
Yes.
So when it comes, you still have to be on the same machine.
And typically you're sitting there waiting because you've already lost that money.
Yeah, you've lost $150, so you're waiting for your $3 beer.
Exactly right. Exactly.
I'm not leaving here empty-handed.
You can tell I've done this before.
Yeah.
Is there something in the identity world that you're looking forward to?
Here?
In general, just Nostradamus, as Jim likes to call it this week.
There's definitely a couple talks that I'm really looking forward to. A couple from colleagues that I used to work with. So I really want to hear what they have to say. And for me, I'm trying to, my ears are pierced for some certain things. And I'm just wanting to really validate my thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had one of my thoughts validated in Andre's session where I'm actually working on an ebook. And the ebook is The Expanding Scope of Digital Identity. And he pretty much said the scope of digital identity is expanding. I'm like, that validates what I'm going to spend a lot of time putting together. So
I don't know. Identity's a fad. It's going to go away. It's like the internet.
Yeah.
It's not important.
Well, there's been conferences since 2006, at least. Maybe before then. So it's just getting more and more complicated.
How about AI? What's your sense of how AI is going to impact what we do in identity? Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing
fad.
AI for a while, right? I mean, AI's been around.
But the definition, I feel like, has changed.
Well, it's generative now,
Yeah,
right?
now
it's generative AI. So is it going to impact? Yes. It is going to.
Can I have one of these?
I'm kind of afraid that everything that's an innovation gets called AI.
I think that's valid.
I mean, is that valid or what, right?
I think it's
AI
valid.
stuff.
Things that are like business intelligence are not AI, right?
Well,
It
could be.
I think this is where the definition has changed. And before we get too far, we have a new guest joining us. Megan is here. Hello, Megan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes. Are you okay? We got water.
I'm good, yeah.
Okay. We were talking about AI, and I feel like the definition has changed because with the introduction of large language models, what I think we used to consider as AI isn't really AI anymore. I think it's more as ML, machine learning, which is
Yes.
a subset of AI. So when I hear a vendor say, oh, we have AI in our thing, okay, do you really? Because do you have a chat GPT-like thing in there, or a Google Bard, or any of the other large language models out
Yeah.
there? No, you probably don't. You're using some sort of machine learning to do role-based access control or something like that, which perfectly valid as a thing like that. But one of the things that I'm starting to really kind of grill vendors on is, tell me about your AI. What is it actually doing? Is it the current definition of AI, or is it the 5-year-old definition of AI?
Yeah.
Because I think within the last 6 months, with the way things have turned out with things like ChatGPT and OpenAI and its contemporaries, I don't think we can call it the same. It's not equivalent anymore.
Does it not remind you of when the word cloud was introduced
Yeah.
into the world?
Yeah, we're in the cloud.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just the new thing, right?
Exactly.
So Megan, you're here. You're doing a talk later this week.
Oh, so I'm Megan Shamus with the FIDO Alliance. I don't know. I've done 2 talks already today, so
So it's perfect timing.
I
Your
mean,
brain is like
it's been
completely.
amazing. So yeah, this morning I was talking to the Women in Identity folks about the work that FIDO Alliance is doing and how women are actually driving some of that stuff forward. And then we had a great masterclass today for the dev community about enabling FIDO sign-ins for websites, which was standing room only. It's actually been really amazing, the level of interest and excitement around the stuff that the FIDO Alliance is doing. And I can't wait. So we have even more to come over the next couple days.
So you've had 2 talks already today. You're doing a third, which is this podcast. And you've got more coming up.
We have many.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you asked. So we have, so our executive director and CMO is giving a keynote tomorrow.
Is that Andrew?
That's Andrew Shakyar.
Andrew Shakyar, friend of the show, current whole.
Friend of the show,
Yep.
amazing speaker. He's going to be doing a keynote tomorrow at 8:30. So I hope folks can wake up bright and early, or maybe stay up all night and come and hang out at 8:30 for his keynote, because he's going to actually be making some kind of cool announcements about some of the stuff that we're doing. And then Christian Brand from Google. So Google just actually announced they rolled out passkey support across all of their Google accounts for consumers. So he's going to have a talk on passkeys tomorrow. And then we have the UX session, which is a masterclass. So great, we've laid the foundation for safe and secure sign-ins. How do you make it really optimal for users to opt into that? We did a bunch of research on that, and tomorrow we're going to be announcing the results of that at a masterclass. And then I need to take a breath because we just have so much going on tomorrow. Andrew will be then hosting a fireside chat with some early adopters of passkeys, including Kayak, Google, and Intuit. So I think that, Identiverse has been a really great supporter of the work that we're doing.
Yeah, they've
but
really
also,
embraced you guys.
I mean, we partner with Identiverse, and we're really mutually supportive of all the stuff that we're doing. But I think that the audience is just really clamoring for more information about the work that we're doing, and it's been amazing so far. And I've only been here for 8 hours, so.
Well, it's continuing to hopefully trend upwards. I recently set up passkey on my Google account. Becky, have you set up passkeys yet? Anything?
Have not.
Have you encountered any accounts that actually have support for it yet? I'm assuming you might have a Google account, but
Yes, I'm sure I have.
I give kudos.
To be honest, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's
great.
It is great,
It works really well, shockingly,
right?
for the way that, I think some of the tribulations that we out there from an employment standpoint. I went in, I signed up, set up my passkey, and I was like,
Got it.
That's it.
Worked.
yeah. So I definitely would encourage it.
Were you almost surprised that there weren't any friction-y
I
kind of
was
steps there?
120%
Yeah.
prepared for all right, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to. If this is gonna screw, I'm gonna get locked out of my Gmail.
Yeah, right.
Something is gonna go wrong. Let me get all my secret backup codes collected, to make sure that
Exactly.
everything's
I think it's really interesting because in the UX research that we did was that we found that people are actually surprised when there's less friction. They're like, this might be less secure because I'm not doing a million steps, and you have to actually really educate them that no, this is a first factor that is way more secure than a password, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a new thing, and it's going to take some time, but as I said, or I continue to say, we've only been a year into this. We only announced Passkeys 1 year ago. We were talking about it last year at Identiverse. We just announced it. So like tremendous amount of momentum and movement forward in just a year. I mean, stay tuned. Andrew has a really cool slide about like years we've been dealing with things and the like how.
Yeah, don't steal his thunder.
Spoiler alert.
Becky, you got a jam? Okay, she's out of here. Our mystery guest, I just
Thanks, Becky.
sort of named her, but we'll
Mystery
see.
guest.
Yes, mystery guest.
So, Megan, is this your first Identiverse conference that you've attended?
No, this is my fourth or fifth, I want to say, Identiverse.
Because Jeff is doing a badge check to
Yeah,
make
good
sure you
badge check.
put
Do you
an
have an
alumni
alumni?
sticker
Did you
on.
get
I mean,
any
you have to
stickers?
opt into that. I mean, literally anyone can take an alumni badge.
Thank you.
See.
That's what I've been saying.
I mean, really? I'm going to, like,
So I find it ironic
if
that
you know, you know.
we're at an identity conference and we're not even authenticating our own badges. I mean, how sad is that? You can go up there, you can imposter anything, you can throw whatever sticker you want on it. I'm disappointed.
It's actually an interesting thing that you bring up because we actually host our own conference, which is Authenticate, which is taking place in October. This is not a shameless plug, although it also
we're going to
is.
shamelessly plug it because we're going to be there.
So we also like catch heat for things like that. And we have to, when we're running events, have to use tools that are maybe not optimal to the kinds of authentication that we want to deal with, right? So when you have to like download the app and use a password, or you have like some kind of magic link or something, is it optimal? It is not, but we're working. So we as FIDO Alliance, so we use Cvent for our event. We're working with them to FIDO enable their platform because we're like, look, like there's only so far we can go with this conference before people are like, why are we not using FIDO to sign into the platform, right? So I think like I got to give Identiverse a little bit of a pass on that, where it's like we only have so many tools to choose from, and like we cannot like make them optimal in the amount of time that we need to do for events. But we at least are working with our vendor to make it better.
So Authenticate is later this year. Is it October?
Yeah, it's in October. I wish I knew the dates. No, it's the 16th to the 19th. We're going to be actually in California this year. We're going to be outside of San Diego in Carlsbad. We needed a bigger space. We needed a bigger expo hall, bigger presence, which is a good problem to have. So we're going to be a little more contained. We're going to do a lot of really fun stuff for our attendees. And what's really exciting about it is I'm really anticipating a lot of newbies because people are excited about passkeys, but some people are just learning about this for the first time. So I actually run the agenda and content for Authenticate in addition to my day job at the FIDO Alliance, trying to like put together an agenda that can accommodate all levels of experience with FIDO is actually really fun. So we're going to have a lot of like newbie content, like mid deployment content, dev content. It's going to be just way more inclusive than we've had in years past in terms of content. So I'm really excited about it.
It's a fun conference. Jim and I have been going to for the last, couple years
Actually,
now?
really excited to have Identity at the Center be our partner podcast for
Yes.
the event.
So
as
breaking
well.
breaking news. Yes. So we will be there for sure, supporting it. What are you looking forward to the rest of this week?
Oh, so
And I mean, I'll preface this. It doesn't necessarily have to be identity related. It could be something in Vegas you're looking forward to. Or is there
geez,
cool vendor parties or something?
oh wow, it's Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. This is the first year that Identiverse has been in Vegas. In past years, we've been at in Denver and in other locations. So Vegas is cool. I think that one of the things I love about Identiverse is the community. So this is a very inclusive community. Whether you're new or you're sort of seasoned here, people are very friendly and wanting to like learn, and there's just a lot of opportunities for networking here, which I always love about Identiverse. The other thing is that I like Vegas, so I like to maybe hang out at the pool a little bit, network at the pool, bring the laptop. I mean, we haven't really been able to do that as much.
Is your laptop
in past
Network
years.
with a pina colada.
I mean, you got like the kind of floating desk kind of thing going on.
Do you turn the camera on? Because
obviously.
no one's going to beat that backdrop, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, okay.
I would never not. So I think that it's the people here. And it's the array of content is really just like super interesting. So I could go have like a list of sessions I want to go to. It has nothing to do with my day job or things, but it's just super interesting, the stuff that's going on in the space. So Identiverse is always a great show for just learning new things, meeting new people, really great community.
It is a good community. And speaking of community, we have Leah has joined us, sort of.
Hello.
Hello. Leah, what are you looking forward to the rest of this week for Identiverse?
You know, I really think that I'm excited to meet a ton of new people. Last year was my first Identiverse. I knew no one. I was a brand newbie in the identity space, and now it's a year later, and I feel like I've started to learn a little bit more. I will admit I didn't know the difference between IGA and IAM and PAM when I started, and the community has been very helpful, and when I ask questions or just anything, it's been very helping me educate myself, and that's what I'm really excited about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you a member of ID Pro?
I am, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Has that community been very helpful as well?
Oh, it's been like the Slack channel. You can just, it's crazy,
See, it's
right?
not just me, right? It's Slack channel is amazing.
The Slack channel is awesome, and I actually use it. I'm part of InfraGuard in Tampa Bay, and I actually can Slack into there and ask people, and they've already connected me with tons of other people. So I really appreciate how much the security community, or I guess the identity community, has just pulled me in and let me be a part of it.
It won't be long until Leah's up on the big stage throwing a keynote down.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all do not want me up on the stage.
Well, I heard a y'all, so I definitely want you up on the stage for that. Get a little
I'm here
southern
for
drawl
comic
out there.
relief.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I mean, it can't always be just, deep topics, right? Getting into it. You want to have some fun. We do that on our show too, right? We end most of our shows on a lighter note.
Well,
Sometimes
Megan is
it's
clearly a Vegas person. How about yourself?
a Vegas person. I don't know if that was not meant to be
That wasn't an
derogatory. Sorry.
insult. I'm a Vegas person.
I'm here
I
for the
Vegas.
I'm a
Right.
Vegas
Are you?
person too. Yep.
Are you Vegas? Yeah, I feel that you're either very into Vegas
Yeah.
or you're very not.
Yeah.
By
And
the end of the week,
I'm into
like, get me
Vegas
the hell out of here.
for 3 days, and then I'm out.
That's it. Then you're out. It's like, where's my plane?
Exactly.
yeah, I would say younger Leah was a huge Vegas person, but now I'm older and I feel like a big loser because I was really excited to just get to my hotel room and take a nice bath.
Yeah, but you and I were talking earlier, and you have a very cool set. I don't want to blow up your spot or do anything like that, but it's pretty sweet. I mean, what you're planning on doing over the summer at least, and for the next foreseeable.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what are you doing this summer?
Well,
I wasn't going to put her on the spot, but if she wants to volunteer it.
What was going to happen after you said that?
I
we were
know,
just gonna
come on.
I'm
Right.
not in too much. I mean, I'm flying to Zurich on Thursday, so I'll be in Europe for the summer, and I've just been kind of traveling around just a little bit. I just got back from Calgary visiting she was my roommate when I lived in Innsbruck, and I got to hang out with her, which was really nice, and I found Identity Week in Amsterdam.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm going to go check it out because, why not? I got to go spread the
That's
identity
going to be a
word.
good program.
Is it?
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I'm supposed to do something for them, for Identity Week America, later this year.
Yep.
So all right, you're on a mission now. You need to come back and report what was Identity Week like in Amsterdam.
It's in Amsterdam. Yeah, it's
And
on June.
let me know if this is legit, because I've
13th,
never heard of
14th.
it until
So
this
that's
year.
the mark of a true identity nerd when they're like traveling around on vacation. They're like, well, I have to hit Identity Week.
Right.
Of course, I'm going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
I'm there. I might as well. I might as well go
Definitely a
catch some
security
sesh.
nerd. I like accidentally found security, and it has been so nice to come in and be like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah.
You guys get it.
Yeah. We haven't figured out like what to call a group of identity people are. At dinner a couple years ago with the Identirati, which
Right.
I don't really like that term. We called it a disagreement of people.
A
of
disagreement?
identity, because we could never agree on anything. I don't know if that sticks either, but it's like Identiverses, like what's the plural of that?
That's a good question. Well, I'll be brainstorming that on the plane, and I'll come back with some ideas, I promise.
Okay. So now we got a foreign correspondent for the show. This is fantastic.
I like it.
This couldn't have
Reporting
gone any better
live
for us,
from
Jim.
Identity Week Amsterdam.
Yeah, there we go. Good. See, that would be cool. We haven't been able to make it across the pond yet, Jim. Someday.
Yeah. Well, being that we're in Vegas, I think we should wrap up the show and
Yeah.
go enjoy Vegas.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty.
We have 13 minutes left of the
Yeah.
free drinks inside,
Yes.
so
The sliders are really good. I had one.
Okay, sliders.
the fries are legit. as
Sliders,
well.
fries. What about from the crowd? What else should I be checking out when I go in there?
What are you
Wine,
into?
alcohol.
You know,
okay.
it's actually a weird kind
IPA.
of thing, but Identiverse actually does a wonderful job with the food. Like, the lunches
Agreed.
are great. I mean, these are things people, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I run a conference, I got the surveys back. The most things are like, food.
Yeah. People want to be
So-
well fed.
I judge every conference on the quality of their cookies. So that's how we're going to find out over the next couple of days whether or not this conference turns out.
Is any
I have
good.
faith, but that's how I judge it, is by cookies. I'll tell you, the last Gartner conference, cookies were on point. I'm just going to say it right there.
I agree with
see?
that statement
Okay.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up. Anything else, Jim?
I think that's the point that I was bringing up. Like, we have to depend upon the services that we have for events, and like, they're not always like, we can't be like, we must insist upon these XYZ things in a year that you put in place. It's actually really hard because we would like to.
Megan's now
I would
holding
love
court
for like
with the
all
audience.
of our like sign-ins for all of our event things to be FIDO enabled, but it's like those things take time, right? But we plant the seeds. But like, I take the brunt of that because I'm like, why are there magic links for XYZ? I'm like, I'm sorry, like I didn't
Do
build
as
the
I say,
system.
not as I
didn't
do.
build the system. I wish I did, but that's the point. Yeah.
All right.
We want everybody to be safe. We're not.
Megan's just
going
to keep talking. We're going to try to end the show, but she's going to keep going on and on about it.
I could go on for
Yeah.
forever.
Um,
It's like, Megan, take the mic away.
All right, Megan has removed the mic, is walking away slowly. She's doing it backwards too, so probably smart.
She's moonwalking.
Yeah, out of here.
Bizarre.
Thank you for the folks who took the time to stand
Yeah.
here in very uncomfortable,
Thank you.
no seats or anything like that.
Great
But
job,
yes, thank
guys.
you very
We're
much.
hoping.
Leah, thank
This
you
was
for
really fun.
joining
Thank you
us.
for having me.
Megan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for Ian and
Yes,
Becky
Ian
and
and
for
Becky.
the conference organizers again
Yep.
to give us a spot.
Yeah, it's very cool. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. And yeah, no cool outro. We'll just say we're done. See you guys. Bye.
You've been listening to Identity at the Center. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit the website at identityatthecenter.com and find us on Twitter at IDAC Podcast. See you next time on Identity at the Center.